Afternoon, everyone. So we will begin with the opening prayers, beginning on page 1, and we will recite once in English and once in Tibetan. All mothers, sentient beings, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and all-knowingness. May they experience happiness and be separated from suffering. I will quickly establish them in the state of the most perfect and precious Buddhahood. Thus, until I achieve enlightenment, I perform virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. Until death, I perform virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. From now until this time tomorrow, I perform virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. All sentient beings, limitless as the sky, take refuge in the glorious kind Lama Vajradhara, the embodiment of the body, speech, mind, qualities, and activities of the Buddhas of the 10 directions and the 3 times, source of the 84,000 categories of the teaching, and Lord of the Sanghas. We take refuge in the kind root Lama and lineage Lamas. We take refuge in the deities and the mandalas of the Yidams. We take refuge in all the exalted Buddhas. We take refuge in the perfect Dharma. We take refuge in the excellent order of Sanghas. We take refuge in all the noble Dhakas, Dakinis, and Dharmakardis, possessors of the eye of wisdom. Until I attain the heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in all the Buddhas. I take refuge in the Dharma and likewise in the assembly of the Bodhisattvas. As the previous Buddhas embraced the enlightened mind and progressed on the Bodhisattva's path, I too, for the benefit of all sentient beings, give birth to bodhicitta and apply myself to accomplish the stages of the path. In the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha most excellent, I take refuge until enlightenment is reached. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. May all other sentient beings, boundless as the sky, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness which is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. Refuge of all sentient beings without exception, divine subjugator of terrifying Maras together with their host of demons, the one who understands all realities without exception exactly as they are, transcendent conqueror together with your disciples, please come here to this place. The ground ground is sprinkled with scented water and strewn with flowers. It is adorned with Ngur, the supreme mountain, the four continents, and the sun and moon. As a Buddha field I offer it. May all sentient beings attain the happiness of the Buddha fields. Whatever merit I have gathered through prostrations, offerings, confessions, rejoicings, beseeching, and praying, for the sake of the enlightenment of all sentient beings, all this I dedicate. And then on page 11, Namo, to the Lama of utterly pure appearance and existence, I offer the fundamental ground of appearance and existence. I supplicate you to thoroughly liberate the three realms. Please grant your blessings and overturn the depths of samsara. Sublime Master, wish-fulfilling jewel, crown ornament, the inconceivable, inexpressible mind of the victorious ones, the one endowed with the five wisdoms of omniscience, gracious one, the embodiment of love, precious protector of beings, I supplicate you from within the essence of mind. Please grant your blessings from within the innate nature. Please bless me that I may realize the Dharmakaya that is beyond intellect, this primordially unborn, completely pure mind. Transcendent conqueror, the one thus gone, foe destroyer of afflictive emotions, completely perfected Buddha, endowed with logic and virtue, the one gone to bliss, knower of the world, captain, tamer of beings, the unexcelled teacher of gods and men, I respectfully prostrate, completely touching my head to the stainless feet of the unequaled Shakya King. At the time of your birth, leader of two-legged beings, taking 7 steps on this great earth you proclaimed, I am supreme in this world. To you who are wise even then, I prostrate. Possessing a body of complete purity, your sublime form is excellent. An ocean of primordial wisdom, you are like a golden mountain. The one whose renown is evident throughout the 3 worlds, protector of supreme attainment, to you I prostrate. To you who are endowed with the supreme Mars, whose face is like an immaculate moon, to you, the one with a complexion like gold, I prostrate. A flawless one such as you, among the 3 levels of existence, is most exquisite. Unparalleled omniscient one, to you I prostrate. Supreme among humans, captain of those to be tamed, the one thus gone who severs the all-binding fetters, who with senses pacified is utterly pacified and skilled in peace. To that one, the one who dwelled at Sravasti, I prostrate. Refuge endowed with great compassion, totally omniscient one who indicates the way, ground basis for oceans of merit and qualities, I prostrate to the one thus gone. The pure cause free from attachments, the virtue that liberates from the lower realms, the altogether supreme ultimate truth, to the pacifying Dharma I prostrate. Having been liberated, they also reveal the path to liberation. Thoroughly respectful of the 3 higher trainings, they are a field of sublime qualities. To the Sangha, I also prostrate. And then back to 9 for the English transliteration and 8 for the Tibetan. And then we flip to page 15 and just recite this one in English. I prostrate to youthful Manjushri, to those in the worlds of the 10 directions, however many there are, all the lines among humans who appear during the 3 times, To all of them without exception, I pay homage with respectful body, speech, and mind. The force of my aspiration prayer for excellent conduct brings all the victorious ones directly to mind. Bowing down with bodies as numerous as atoms in the realms, I prostrate to all the victorious ones. In a single atom there are Buddhas as numerous as atoms, each residing in the midst of their sons and daughters. Like that, I imagine the whole Dharmadhatu completely filled with victorious ones. Those with oceans of inexhaustible praiseworthy qualities, sounds containing oceans of tones of melodic speech, I express the qualities of all the victorious ones. I praise all the Sugatas, with the finest flowers, the finest garlands, music, ointments, supreme parasols, supreme lamps, and the finest incense. I make offerings to the victorious ones. With the finest laws, supreme scents, and fine powders equal to Mount Meru, all displayed in supreme and magnificent ways, I make offerings to those victorious ones. With vast and unsurpassable offerings, I venerate all the victorious ones. Through the power of faith and excellent conduct, I prostrate and offer to the victorious ones. Whatever negative actions I have performed through body, speech, and also mind, overpowered by desire, aggression, and stupidity, I confess to each and every one of them. I rejoice in everyone's merit. The victorious ones of the 10 directions, the Bodhisattvas, the Pratyeka Buddhas, those in training, those beyond training, and all beings. I request the protectors, the lamps of the worlds of the 10 directions, who passing through the stages of awakening, attain Buddhahood beyond attachment, to turn the unsurpassable Dharma wheel. I supplicate with my palms joined together those who intend to demonstrate nirvana, to remain for kalpas as numerous as atoms in the realms, for the welfare and happiness of all beings. I dedicate whatever slight virtue I accumulated through prostrating, offering, confessing, rejoicing, requesting, and supplicating to enlightenment.
And then on page 16, request for teachings. Please turn the wheel of the Dharma of the two vehicles and their combination according to the dispositions and mental capacities of sentient beings.
Hello, everyone. Joshi Dele. Thank you to Rinpoche and Virginia. Invite me this Dharma Center, which I visited how many years ago? Many years ago. I'm very familiar with this environment, and of course, Drong is my friend for more than 30 years almost.
I can't hear back there.
Closer.
Maybe can someone increase the volume from this mic? Is there a way to do that? Yeah.
And I know Virginia about 20 years, maybe, yes. So we are old friends here. And of course, my teaching is not special or anything, but you heard Drong which is teaching a few days in here. So you will see my teaching is not as good as Drong which is, but I just thought that once they request me to teach, I think Virginia and Drong which thought I'm sort of academically research on a Dzogchen stuff. So then they thought maybe it's good to talk a little bit about Dzogchen. The Dzogchen is very broad and also difficult to understand sometimes. And then I thought maybe many years ago, Garchen Rinpoche asked me to edit this text. At that time, I don't really know what it is, and it was. And then I have chance to read, and I carried this text over because it took time, almost maybe more than a year. And then I visit in India. I also carry the text because I need to read and edit the text. I heard there's only one copy of this commentary, and that was not clear, and the block print was not clear. Some areas are very difficult to read. So somehow I managed to edit the text and then print out. But before that, then I went to see His Holiness Chezong Rinpoche, and at that time I was carrying this text with me, and I asked him to give me a loan, the root text, not the commentary. Yeah, I got loan from him, and then I come back maybe after a year or two, they printed the text. So not now what we have is this in Tibetan. I had rumors that its English version will come sometime in the future. Not yet in the past, but in the future. So that's good news. And then, of course, I am very interested in Dzogchen teachings and Dzogchen practice and Dzogchen philosophies. When I grow up, I do Longchen Yingtek, which is a Longchenpa's tradition by Jingme Lingpa and Longchen Yingtek, which pretty much involved in the Dzogchen teachings. And later I did the practice Jangchubling Dersa, Jangchubling Dersa, and so forth. But when I see these texts and I have chance to read through, and it's really much longer than Yeshe Lama, but it seems this is extended basic. Not totally, but many things overlap in Yeshe Lama and this commentary. But if you don't know Yeshe Lama with text, which is, I think even English, they call Yeshe Lama. There's no translation of that. That means unsurpassed, past gnosis, but that's what I call. But I think other translations call primordial wisdom. But maybe you have some more.
No, I just wasn't sure if they caught that Kempo translates this term Yeshe often as unsurpassed Moses. Is that what you were saying?
Lama.
Oh, Lama,
Yeah.
unsurpassed.
Yeah.
And then the Yeshe is Moses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's maybe if you don't understand my English, that's first of all, it's English as second language, and then other way is I don't know what I'm talking about sometimes in English. So the gnosis is what I associate with the people. They use that. I use that for Yeshe. So my name is Yeshe too. So, but then we see others use primordial knowing or primordial wisdom or whatever you want to choose to use. But Yeshe means, I think if you want to really close to Tibetan literal meaning, is primordial knowing. That's yes means primordial, he means no. That's and then my poor choice is just gnosis because it's easy to say one word rather than many words to describe. And also these texts, Yishi Gunzo, so it's we will discuss that later. So I have a very good. Then one time I mentioned to Drong that I have these circumstances to involve with this text, and Drong told me that that's good karma and good karmic connection, and so I thought it's good to share what I have, since we are.
I move this.
Okay,
Make this a little closer.
to where?
Just closer to you.
Okay, that's good.
Thank you very much.
It's better now?
Better.
It's better now? Okay. Yeah, that's the story of this text. And since I was requested to teach Dzogchen, and then we have Drong Center here, and I thought maybe this is a good opportunity to share our Drong Dzogchen. I think everyone knows exactly what Dzogchen means in English, but we also can repeat what we understand, or I understand. Dzog and Chen. Dzog is perfection, complete. It's everything in there. And Chen is great, so the Dzog Chen is used. That maybe for me easy to use Dzog Chen rather than degree perfection sometimes. So forgive me if I say Dzogchen or Yishi Lama or Gnosis. These are sort of main vocabularies that we need to focus on. So now I think I'm going to chant my prayer lineage first. That's one thing, and then I give the oral transmission or the loan of the root text. And after that, then we go through root text, because root text is not that long. And we go through root text, and then we try to understand the kind of general structure and everything. And then if we have time, then we go detail in commentary. Then, of course, then if any difficulties and everything we can discuss, and especially Virginia will help us to clarify English. And if you have question, just raise hand to stop me. Say what is the issue. Well, first, send my. Mare menza dunga nyoga shini janze Amara badana amara badana amara badana Arabadana Zeden Jiji Chenra Bozeji Lalo Demo Nambara Kadan Denju Shunlo Dobaye Loju Pope No Kanse Tawarendo Ba Chungse Ndewando Na Gombo Jamyan Juni Gune Payan War Kange Jarzon Dawe Mengan Kesran Zimben Dongzajin Chenbe Sebo Sindro Zarvendro Gume Gedeze Tubjin Dama Gune Juren Jikan Zomjin Kong Jabe Tong Pen Magar Poteren Lalo Penso Urgen Zon Pemi Dombu Jarve Namro Ronson Tenzo pe yoden sombarve pe manjuni dalo benzo jon shini tango jijin serpin chense jingo ra fongxin rogan che momen ba senze lo rogan denyen de kodon yi che zheba me gong chu yin ka lan zi ba kong jan par chung kune ga we zo gen jo yin zho pe ma gar fong zin pe cha le son wo zer dong ge cha wa jin yin ge men sa lo zhong jo zo Yang Jeng Ke Pamo Da Yi Jong Person Dorsen Gara Hiresen Bema Gara Jimboni Shenga Sosu Mama De Dong Jasa Katere Lama Nang Lazarwa Ande Ramling Zibi Jindong Choni Tong Tuje Long Tong Nyam Ben Tong Ai Nang Chu Tamba Bebe Dur Yu Jing Kundi Chukur Dobe Long Chen Ba Chen Me Wezer Sha Lazarwa Ande Shi Ya Kun Sen Ro La Ji Tse De Chen Me Wezer Yung Ro Tu De Usa Long Chen Nang Ki Nang Jirwa Jing Mi Ling Bi Sha Lazarwa Ande Che Ter Jer We Ze Po Shi Wa La Nang Der Chu Bi Hong Jer Sha Song Wang Pang Chou Deng A Rong Zhu Mu Wen Jing Mi Shu Jie Wang Bu Zu Wang De Ri Tong Jian Bar Shu Mi Shi La Le Dong Be Long Le Ba Be Der Jie Song Te Jiang Zong Ma Da Chou Na Tang Jiang Yong Nam Jia La Ge Jiang Yoden Song Ji Gun Dong Nyam Na Yang Ge Zhi Song Ji Gun Le Sao Bing Dong Za Yu La Ma Za La Za Wan Da Song Zhe Wei La Na Chu La Sota 정말 휴식이 값서 휴 년도의 날에 좁도의 날에 관계 값이나 정말 삼바형 좀 저기 그거 되게 말 다들 그래서 주주 값 탄다 왜냐면 뭐 신바지다 신데 정말 살아야 말로 다 휴식이 값이 듣고 나온다 넘버 타고도 기 그래서
So at the beginning, whenever engaging in this process of both giving teachings or explaining the teachings and also listening to or receiving the teachings, it's really important first to cultivate a really pure motivation to generate the mind of bodhicitta, setting the purest intention possible when listening to the Dharma teachings.
정말 나서 심지로 듣지니 샤샤가 많이 봐 소체샤가 많이 봤다 주님이 나이나 주도비 값이나 넘버 근처도 그런 야고요 그랬어.
And so it's also important not to just leave it at the beginning to generate it and then kind of leave it behind, but actually to sustain that motivation throughout the duration of whatever it is, whether listening to the Dharma teachings or engaging in practice, to keep the continuity of that pure motivation ever present.
근데 삼바자 체와 형첩선지 그런 형첩선 저도 선지였대. 답자 체와 송아지 평송 되는 거죠. 단다. 내가 유비去年的新年 장마트. 상지도 형첩선 봐. 근데 인백이 되네. 듯이 하고 있어.
And so it is important to have the vast motivation or mindset of bodhicitta, especially in the context of the vast method, which is secret mantra. So we have the vast methods of secret mantra, and so when listening to the Dharma, it's also important to have pure perception on the part of those who are listening to view the one who is teaching the Dharma as the Buddha or Bodhisattva in person.
If you have this preliminary text or not, others.
Does everybody have this?
No,
Oh,
this is
sorry.
preliminary.
Yeah.
This is available for free on Eric's website, so
Oh.
people can access
Oh.
it.
And is that in the
No.
booklet that we created?
No, I wasn't aware of it.
Oh, okay.
In particular, this on page 20, we have another 7th branch offering that belongs to the Tantrayana, not the Sutra one. We recite in our King of Aspiration prayer. We have that, but this is the Tantra one. So usually lamas, when give longs, they recite this first. If you don't have it, doesn't matter. I can read in Tibetan, maybe then Virginia can read in English.
And should we make it available for the following days? Because we can
That
print
would
it out.
be pretty
Okay.
good. Dorje Lobon Sonje Batu Sonjola Jonzalan Josun Dembe Shinjola Nimi Jaji Jemunjo Number Tobin Jova Jesus. Murojo Jubegin Malaysia Rajin Jojun Kusum Tabi Jumaja Julaji, Topic Daja Chumani, Bobby Johnson, the Yishin Johnson Bala, Tawas and Jibin. Set up Drong Egagun, do the Jangchubling, or Zonjola, Tanzala, Josun Dembe, Jola, Nimi, Jasin, Number of Minjo. Moro Jojo, Malaysia, Raji, Jojun, Topic Daja Chumani, Tobin Johnson, the Yishin Johnson Bala, Tawas and Jibin. Set up Drong Egagun, do the Jangchubling.
I prostrate to the Vajra masters and glorious Buddhas of the 3 times. I take refuge with a non-dual mind and the 3 supreme ones, the ground of the teachings. I offer pure offerings for you to enjoy, both real and emanated through the mind. I confess all downfalls without exception that obstruct the river of accomplishments. I rejoiced in the unattached conduct of the Dharma of the pure 3 spheres of the 10 directions. I give rise to the immaculate, perfected, enlightened mind of the purified 4 extremes. I offer my body through the 3 purities to the Sugatas and Bodhisattvas. Gathering all the virtue accumulated in my lifetimes, I dedicate it to the supreme enlightenment.
Okay. If you have this copy, or if you can obtain this copy, please bring. We can scan together sometime. Okay, this is just a long verse. 탐주 공바 용사 레 조는 이시 근저 쇼소 송쇼 뭐를 주되어 서마 근데인데 바라근도 선불아 찬살로 근데 추나 인양인데 돈네 만들어 무슨 남바 이제랑 이가나 하lun도 강미 이시 저러 쳔브라 노시 예로 롱봉 덴데 제 상남인데 지지른 바 서마 당자 오로지 베마 통정기 도친인고 티비 저보라 모태니 진군만 개바정 내로 통지미 송제더 나보나나 렌데 원겐도 부드 진동 등미 제바 미 원동주의 남배티 다당 체제 이个拉索巴所说的用的用在新的老人宁波的那些区级格瓦没办法，什么呀家太阳的通过跟南就是比那边的是几天的小瓦汤，现在他们的比例，伊拉让人老公就被那么多的老公就冲突，另外一种某个的东西在这边对了，早上写出经过，我给明白写的。早晚上我做工用的那边现在另外一个上面就南坡下也他们就帮了。趁的路冷意或者单位单了门啊，单位有那6%的小送就或者7万没他办年产，所有的上国的去弄进去看大康没他，农具节当然生产他们就7万没去7万多那出明白了，在里头帮农龙就安开了康的讲看南没看700容易讲。南去出西南，没是拉说把大规年前看到用，去把产生，出面把空气中，看把没把这东西，天气小把空气中部分没把可能，他的清不大的，马用话的加入部分人去把产品出了落地头，一天气小把了，你把没把可的，你们老法去研究过，什么要加。他那热线业务下的太阳、青龙、双瓦通，另外一级热线业务，甚至没700有奖。在我另外一送的对问题的下午，新的那边呢是6多件都从下。我马红的一级融入他们的这边，我们个本人把2嘛，你看红我不能跟巴嘞。没干嘛听送的，把我的另外一送进这个副车，他们就是个哪怕了真的完全的缺乏上了，一个送进去把门票上的下午，第另外一种后边没到比不过有的，什么也加的，那这把讲话东西，咱们就不切，咱们别嘛是别送着他，伢说东西，伢把东西把铺走的，到平常那个把门着就没了，这样咱们都推进这边某个节，这把这个嘛用的法是下午。提醒了小金，这把兄弟伢东把信用大给同对面的加入，什么也加去。天天留集中，拉伢呀，搞车上人把狗给吧，给吧了马儿咱前头真，人把狗这也看了马儿咱前头这没拿在拍，西巴让路走下个。在那儿香港准备哪位那么多行动忙不，200些忘的，天天些把我是别打赢了。这那么一把准备一等把那单子没就管，天天200人把不得了，出去3的现在微信都去打久了，我马上呢，我那叫把的那把流氓把哪样，老嘛因为打汤，从把那流通3健康他的些吃，第轮度也是靠30大个营养的习惯牵着，第就是流动3健康他的，3米康卡车话打了就被，你看是也没办法了，他的3卡车现在靠我，第这个他们呢觉得过劲，成套样下我，吃套样下，用轮的嘛一般我轮忙不，南北3的健康他的。합성 그룹에 센터 랑게 센제 감 미제 진나 몽보용 와 콩 미제나 제발 콩게 예소 트리베 타더 제메 천토 요메셰 베제메 헤데 상레스 찰러 로보 티티스 시네지 모토 공무스다 디제서 주지 3시 샤베 대도 용소 냠뇽 신켄테 당보콩의 흉원이 용의 두콩 파마 잡에 조칸도 예수콩 시샤송 바즈 시브드 주비 많이 바타주는 신도메넬로지 모토바 제도 대연치기 신의 땡라페바 가르쳐고 사마야자자 대내용 천나와 까마도 나wan들 샘지 차방 마차바름도 기 따르쇼 대나라 샘지 마차바름도 세나 샘 우지 차바 샘 쌈지 차방 샘 쌈지 챕터 무마이데 도기지 샘지시나 대가다 나와 강 나와 탐지 샘지 나와 샤바인데 샘지 랑동랑사 까르마데도 이미르도 탐지 시바나 타주비 고바오 영어와 공유로만 제일 제일지 대신 두숨지 똑바로 소주면 수 로베 사통도 사근자도 티투 속소소 동간의 샘이나 요런디 촌데시 송남 파르트 멘도게지 캠볼라 무송기 예도 칸도 트로밤 만도 탄다 멘도 따반단 타르토게 파르트 따버 타고 강이나 실릭버 따지 bennoa 탐지 샘스코 샘kim에 때문에 민저마선 교발인데 버시 시원데 대다 관한 군대제 자와 샘이 샘리 군치바이 대이 통지부 현나 협마자와 랑랑이 바트 군도 군주 이진노 라도니 바신 용 사마야 자자 단원 짐바 샘지 모투 단원 짐바 샘지 모투는 유명히 보라 아 서드 주명이 보드 나오 냠바데 심리 동사 루 펜보 나 착장난 다고 때미 본데 라 초롱게 나오 김우존메 발란zem바데 초롱 출반이 짐바이 또 나가라 메나메가와라 소비 차통비 또 만나서 신이베제와 양 대당 라든 짐바이 다네 대다른 짐바 티처 코네 좀 다다콘 다 대든 짐바 제 천원 코네 좀 다다 카운트네 류지노 도메 탐제도 따주베 샘지 샘자르 신도 저더 롱게 로마니바 사티미 니베 때마니베 롱통 공용 무좀미 비지미 공자 저와 탐지 처럼 추르셔와다 상달도 초초네 데른도 냠베 총시바지 중데 마용게 파도 공모 대다라 논진바선라 모데비 상통로 레마고바 시시자 모토베 노로랑니 시샤오 사마야자자 송아치노님의 모토바네 페나 매기 송통와라 텐드 인데남종고데 소기 무미겐 맹트미 이도이 요타니와 민피견당 저거 반드 되기지 샤메바데 테더 견신종데 카데 징만종종 소문통데 천원님의 텐드를 용어티 모월라티 티지에서 만도 가정 나가 산나산 짐바 마요종 속설라메와 알레 상외 상영 상세와시 용어 들은 용어 동바를 제네 바테네 셈지 속서 라메 라메와 대가 셈지 랑지 니미든 축세와 셈지 천이 되니 동담을 냠진이 스메바 산지 네데 전통 트비드바 마잉바 텐 투숨성지 좀 뭐고 고송롱산나 최대와 조치줄메긴 다른데 바시 연노 대신도 다처로 루야나로 루 나와나 제루 옹 좀메바 샘테다 샘테남소 또빌로 버드 견지 맞추바 요다처로 루기 조요동 덴비 견시 총고바소 나르 힘어 제비 작통 소통 용통 릭통 저 코데 나섬님이 타피님이 내도님이 숨주 내천도 모르베 코노 tro스 송 지셔 추니 군대 열매도 시바시 온 롱르 열매도 사와나 랑사도 살레바 이니 대성진 조와 랑사지베 랑동 니로 시차라 자르 셈지 로동 차위 치 차바 로소동 또비 천신 레드 메베나 모원이 휴바고 사마야 자자 다다 롱롱조니 본동반네 레옥 담라 맥티비 세 벤타 제데검 레 때문에 장을 슈퍼 로라 샤네 테니라 체버든 도컴멘도 따르쇼 도나 칸사르탄 칸마잔도 트리비 타라송엔 론도메도 모시데 타테 리바 때문에 땅송이 예메도 땡출레 다더도 롱정에 와시 차데 달라 템바톤나 kunji 마토도 친데 콘데 이미 주마치 젠지 문제 두숨 투미 Chubadan Travi, Chu, Ingerangi, number Tabi, Rolo, Summit, Nirmi, Shiji Manipa, Don Condeon, Manga, but Jundun Rovatala, Toba Ser, Kumba Ser, Tajimba Ser, Trova, Shishao, two Tamji, to non Zimba Rondo, the Kumiji Ship and the Mandawashi, Russo. Then the hit to Jinawa Samson Motre Batan, non Zimba Rondo to Motre Bata, so much no Nimit Motribi, Jishi Kundur, De, Shizokan, Kundi Samso, Zokotemba, Samaya Jaja. Nimba Lam was on the Tombe Zokachelon, Tenny, Shawson, Pardaluna, Yizon, Nigger, Farni Shawatamki, on the Mayan with him. Shago. The name and been in Donging, Toba Shangos, Katela, Sova Trado, the Chukushu, and Singet, and Lujin Jinzo, Counter Sar, Laxo, the non Sardan, Rotu Singer. At Ye, Shuk Jimbala or Chuji make Tengi, Nampala de Brashavo, Lunin, Di Yodan, Lenonga, the Yishiji Longa, the Chuni, Noma, Subancha, the Fonsa Gumbabo, Lu Tashi Chenji, Shiba Shingwatan, New York Kamawa Talan Chodan Joro. Yon Lonka Huton, Longchan, Ne, Kabobi Motronlaja, Consort Cherbu, Promosar, Sumo Komaladan, Jimba Jimzi Chanla Tang, Make Fanola, Sorji, Shigurte, the Lunin, the Yodane, Lula, Trupet, Yoji, Tovanami, Ingrid Nison, maybe Gombala, and Ambir with Lutzaronin Batan. Nen Tome Hormancho, the Shizo, Yon Trukushu, and Tronson Sokotavan, Pompe Long in Ship, Pumoto, Borosha, Lapa, Nor Putrankia, Lu Tromboson, Jimba Yuzam, so the make Narciteso, Zam, Pala, Wunola Jaro, Jango. Lunin Dia Yodan, Yuan Yangin, Tarvi, Yishin Yordan Cherry, Yingdon, the Romabi moment, Neso, Tenan Amjorba Transhichevatan, Nentosa do Balashi. Lunin Denam, Mangorna, Yodan Yordan Charo, Lunin Denam, Dena, Pumpalham and Mandova, teacher, Regin, and Nedan the Shaw, Samaya Jaja. Nagi, Shawa, Nung, Jubarad, do the Ma, Lotam Mama Capsa, Maki. June Rumor Sha, young Capsa Rongi Chujun and Taru, Trasarva June. Shandong, Nagam Mesavaton, Tonga Chena, Luji Dajums Shawazan, Tara Shawa Tamchi God, Kuba, that will never show Kuba, and you make it on Jula, Javan Yoro, Samaya Jaja, Tene Yijin and Tessin Bella, Javan and Memangova Doba, Suchi, Silver Papas on the Mayova. Keying and Nankatambala mining, but if you also lawyer Chima, you and then you take a Drondo Maluba to be Kuba Yoto Samaya Jaja. Nene numbers on the ten, Moson Rondo to back with the Kuni, make Yorgin, Tinderjin, Nankaya Tapa, Longan, Hindu Tarwal, Chair Edzam Toro, Team on a gen non Taraju Beton, Ronga Ribbon, English and Movo from you, two gens of my shop, number that you but Zandon Ronton Hammer, Hubat in English, Safa Major Rata with a Kurji Kubatam, make it Gorosu Batali, Tony, Chijin Namkilana. Carrot, you tuning was again on Atonji Sara, Jing number Tabeton Mashishawa, and Ja, my don the which Chatin on the Taylor on the German Churchin on the Churri to be remote, Rambata by New drums and on charity, no the Dorje Lugutan, the Metican Chuma Jubata one, Jata, Jamata one, Tawata Chilungi Jubata, Indret on Sundralas of a carbon total and Chad, Tena, Rondon Rubin over Tilan Yajinton Shisha, Samaya Jaja, Tata Chichi here, Yazo Chamberlain, Mayuba, Shinzi, Tang, Shendu, Traveling on the membership, Ying race are remusavin, Nanki in the year from the Mengan in Java, particularly on some assembly. Wonga on Travat and Rabat and Zarbat. Servaton, to do what a teleting and Sauk, committed with the Magi Dondon, Yamen number on Chapsadon, Trauma that we can drink the Sefshara, but if you don't chamber what the Vinyamic number that will Lumpa Kimbats on the Tile and Giban Joro. Young who you come down a Tile and Rabbi Giban Joro, young who not on Hamas and Tile Yang, Cherry Jibin on the Tintan on the Judan and Barbata with the Chibata with the Chuchu, what Namjin Drivi Tile. Tintan Charvan, Kondo Doji, Kono, Tampi, Ukuru, Charvatan, Ingrid Madravi, Pujan, Chico. Nazumla Sobat, Tavin, Chumashi Banan, Rumpa, Novin, Nyamla. 람람 샤와네 등오통 총선메바 송탈레 샤베 수준 시바메바 롱샤베 롱지 춘지 저바 남기 카첩도 감삼르든 차듯이 그래서 농아랑서도 의견 조선세 농줄루도베 트르비 샤예탕 타라 송알롱섬도베 남폰 주메시 람데 시 투시종 춘니포도 송자발라 태송메토 공개 주님 무슨 동안에 냠노 공도 베레비 냠 콤프레시샤와 상마야자다 다동 뒤모는 냠솔롱의 특례 미충나든지 라베노니 시초 yap장당 용기 건강 타로 용수 조반차도 뒤뒤는 치료지 사도로 단지 자우지 신감수 결혼 나오르바 승진지 신반 진저도 초 상와 줄루지 공본데 우르스 람람종 틀리 냠노 퍼저동 차르메데 그노 그랑세네 제제데 도치제 봉고랑산 남게 찐도 텐서 듣는 공 퍼바sam비종 퍼세데 고동신감 주체 상질라 페베 페바다 타주베 리바체라 페바시샤와 사마에 자자 드니티 모노 춘인노 무건난가 베세바는 많이 범망가 신도 현진 주비기 티 추세샤와 신차도 대용 루지 티롱야 온보 요근 지양 진발렌데 대도 시추 당시 시비 세비 투데 추즈 로즈 시샤오 티첸 프노 신감스시 로노 소메도 야 롱롱이 셰르도고 텔라 추니 세비 나와 시샤데 좀바 친분베나 로송 동다와 둥지 공부하면 로반 상와 맹하게 되면 내던들비 so lam usum river lembezoba chewo samaya jaja 대다른 양조롱을 리뷰에서 조바 쳔데네 리발라 포모던 토메메데 도메콘도 손보도 셴팔 랑머지 주지 리발라 체브르메바 템바고 리발라 게용메데 토마탄 타마트르베체로 리발라 초샤메데 초릴린데베체로 리발라 폰타메데 라도 트레 체로 페셰다베시나 주세르니라 슈도르톤 소노 좀마데고 콘디 주세르 문저바타베 리반데 쇼톤 만트로 레이동 마레 샤다라 노냐 코솜지 모레 마요제 코노 콘토니지 모모 모종터 마트바자시 충홍데 베초코 텔레망가도 노아롱동 본데메 바사라나 롱코 스토나 송아 통하여 대만 전쟁에 당이 더 맞추고 종에 라메 투진도 조롱샤트 롱탈도 샤리양 콘셔트 기미 롱여 포즈 메바사 식 겜바트네 프리베코데 콘섬제지는 또바 무데트나 상지인데基本的现在的技术正常，能认为街头热到通常车吧拉满地被单板的同样没头，我把它趁着用处接近一笔去做把肩膀无什么这个去，人怕现在这个上头单把左手我渐渐开工，那么300位加上去比突击上工，两手让渐渐你工作不等拿到工把做不成。다다님 뜻대가 상위주 사생만이 땜비 뒤만이 마오 닝마 나디 뒤지체 상위명마 윤정 칸차데 토로 자미 냠섬나기 테크 니양라 야가도 비즈마이 투그토 사세전번에 제와몽비 담비 춘데 체네 양성드베네르네 레든 닝거팔라 제토 지 로냐 드비닝 본데 지니 서울시 냠몽 딱지 마지나 빼마다게 체럽 로와루 두숨제베 토게 모니터 대비 사생mon서 담바지 두즈 담반다던 트레베제 레기 질라 담베 자시포 죽손 파르도 마금 상지 로롱라 chen konten 통도 운도완된 바란조 가데 서로 텐데라 만드는 추지 준진가 담바치 롱냠롱 드로반 타르중치 롱요 차동 등의 코르도포 호모자가 나죠 자나 초 메터 소메 담바 폼볼함이죠 제반데니 공텐통 투동 레이동 텐데 샹첩지 람나시는 드바 콘톱지 우르젠 까이 페미상생데 야시 제반데 동데리쇼지 담소 데이터 마모사 기부 투밀렘비닝 토통고 툴라팝제 나덴팔라트 사마야 자자 테레자 비자 삽자 년자 그지 송기자 토기지 요든 잔트는지자 상이자 갑비자 케자 탐스기자 공비자 메요비자 넘보비자 송이자 르비 자 치조비자 하미지 자오 자른바니지게 따반데는 마한그르 까시다와 사세 Da Ronton, Yamton, Chimelemba, Chime Lan Hinder, Farkon Yuji, Monso Padijan, Prometed, non sardingon and Jobber Chiso, Sancho Mafumoze, Drugumba, Rena, Drumne, Teto Takar Jindapti, Ene, Drong, Tabara Pabuto, Zonton Chedo Tamba Chedin, Mahanguru, Kalum Chedo, Candidate, Namba Magonsam, Padon to Miki. 이치가 대외 롱 휴비 샤워도 처음에 런어용 배사조도 무시 매비 요신 차동용 담춘들은 인근지 보시 견도 캐러 찬의 마진비 치마통이 라마조도 걸 준종 백선 목통 마진비 노den공서 인류된 바이 최종지나 나인달시 Jarvi Tupchu Saturn Yanaji, Urgentilla Sobanin, the Chomi Ritu, Tano Sartujon, Song Ronim Chubajon, Kila Mere, Dokla Medoba, Conjulam, Shindu Nepan, the Roncha Chubinyam Maina. Ah, Sergi, Ray Pagi for the member, Pumbolham, Pretender you, Mangalam, Trashi, Kevo. These last lines are Garchian Butchers. The song carry Drong, the Hin Botan show. Yeah, Garcojan sending tree. This is Garchian Butchers, there, my 2 lines here. Maybe I don't know Eric's translation, they don't have that. That's at the long, and I think maybe English we can read while when I try to say more things about this text and in this text. Now I'm thinking maybe we can read this text backwards rather than forward.
Read it backwards rather than forward.
Not really big word, but the last verses are quite we should know first, and then we can where 37. Okay. Page 37. Why I want to do this, usually traditionally teach the texts from beginning to end, but in order to know a little bit about these texts, we try to understand colophon first, and then I don't know much about Rinpoche himself, but we all know that Rinpoche is most famous Drong master, lineage holder. I think a 17th Drong holder. He was born in 1509 and died 1557. That's the time. During that time, he revealed many dharmas. 내린 제품도 당가 좀 저건 지고 많이 봐. 근데 그냥 말이 내 주로 견다. 같이 챙겨래.
So Rinchen Punsok is, it's not that he was only, his activity was only limited to the Drikung, but actually he's considered to be very kind or has shown great kindness also within the Nyingma lineage and others.
오늘은 이제부터 다 인형마게 교권 Ngur 뭐지? 교권 희망이 좀 조정지 교권 냠는 농게 지고 많이 봐. 되네. 컨리 랑게. 되네 대초 단다. 감주 공부 용서. 접쟁게. 대초 마음보여 버리지.
And so he didn't, it wasn't only that he turned the wheel of Dharma, to Guru Rinpoche's specific Dharma or teachings, or Dzogchen, the Dzogchen wheel of Dharma specifically, but also, his the vast collection of his own Dharma treasures, and in particular, of course, the enlightened intent of the Yangsa.
DGS人本做 DGS 那是就去查吧样查会讲你们个谈的就还强了过来的看到你那样在家忙不上的是可能你的做那种这种军事机构嘛一般的谈的趁机的一般的단다 성주당 점주용 이님이 걸만 보여 버렸어.
And so then also, of course, there was also the great Chugi Drapa, or Drikung Dharmakirti, who also was a great propagator within the Drikung Kagyu lineage of also, Nyingma practices, or Nyingma lineage, also having to do a lot with sadhana and, mudra and ritual. And also he composed a great number of texts, very many of his own compositions. And so for both Rigzin Chugi Drakpa and Gyalwang Rinchen Punsok are really considered to be the most important throne holders. They were both throne holders who also brought in this, much of the Nyingma wisdom also into the Drikung Kagyu lineage.
근데 다음에 저 불러 자르위 왕보스 자르와 조비성지 장첩신바 전남지 놈이 초도 출가 근데게 산소사단다 자르와 롱천한 참스다 이제 또 장원은 챔프스다 근데 이제 강남이 고용됐더니 체매봐 근데 이만 가게도 고용 체매봐 인도 근데 일단은 센터바 인사를 삼도
And so also this title for Rinchen Punsok, Gyalwang, Gyalwe Wangpo. So Gyalwa referring to, the victorious ones, also, having the significance of, the child of the victorious ones, or bodhisattvas, being, and Wangpo, Wangpo the or
that's
like very powerful, and so this Chokdugirwa, supreme among others, and so also the same title is often found, in conjunction with Longchen Rabjam. So this Gyalwang, this title Gyalwang, he believes also has a significance in being connected to the name of Longchen Rabjam. And that is partially also how it ended up, sort of equating also their great qualities and the kindness of the two. And so Kimbula was saying that that perhaps that is how also the name was acquired.
내가 배전 뒤에 가장 한참 감축 공부 연습을 조금 이시 근데 교수서 네 다 감축 공부 연습 때 제통 자ችን 보여 지난해 나는 조금 20분 조사야 된다. 맞죠? 참다. 신배. 나 배전들 나는 이게 조금 20분 조사는 단데 산데 뭐네 당번에 들이 많이 지에서 인터넷 가까 단단 배자를 산을 따도 되는 산가 대신 주로 왔다는 것도 지금은 들으면도 된 가르스나 page 33 in English and 32 in Tibetan says, "Zoba Tianbo Musum Yingti Kichi, Jirimba, Hilam Jibo, Zond Demba Zoso Zond, Hanam, Tell it then Kichina, Hamatana." Namjuina Becha Tandigi, sent and colophone, sorry.
At the beginning is also the Chatang.
Page 11.
So then we have the title of the text, which is the complete perfection of the primordial wisdom of the completion stage, the innermost profound realization of the sublime Dharma. The Kashila Song Gongpa, the kind of Gongpa, Damchu Gongpa La Yangzap. So first we have the mention of the profound, so the innermost profound realization of the sublime Dharma is also the translation of the Yangzap. So that's the vast collection of the teachings. And so from the Damchu Gongpa Yangzap, then within that we have this specific title or this set of teachings, which is the perfection of primordial wisdom, the complete perfection of primordial wisdom of the completion stage, which then appears again on page 33 as it says, the stages of instruction on the ground path and fruition of the heart essence of the directly revealed great perfection have been taught completely. So the sin gyurwa tebaki dunda shiraya pokoma sonda.
Kapka ngato pecha rangi nala tangbon chen mangkuba chen neva jesu chen tende ku nangdwa. Kudu de rinchen punzo rangi chen kuina ni shendaga chen kuina kapka pecha tis ti tanda pechin tamala yubin chen tedang gobin chen teni te sa tungumandwa ti.
So sometimes it is the case that you have one version of a title that is found at the beginning, and then you have a slightly different version of the title that's found at the end in the colophon. And in particular, and sometimes you have the same with regard to the author, like there's a different name for the author that isn't commonly maybe recognized in the colophon.
In a colophon, usually the title in a colophon is the original title, yeah, because it's included in a text. But then sometimes later collections, when the collections made, then each small text put the titles. The titles sometimes summary of the text, or sometimes appears partially in the text. But most of the time, the in front title is usually later kind of edition, not really original. Okay. Since these ones happen that way. And also then another thing here is in Tibetan, we don't have dertsa. Dertsa is marker, the sign that shows these texts, terma. It's It's just punctuation marks that usually Tibetans have just normal punctuations. But thermas,
It's like the two dots that have the crescent moon in between, right?
yes.
Yeah, that you see at the end of each Tibetan line. So that when you see the two dots with the crescent moon in between, that means usually that it's Dharma.
And you can see now, if you know Tibetan, or even don't know, that the very first line, the end doesn't have this look like eye sign.
At the beginning.
Mhm. So we can talk that later, but for now we can go to 37. Yeah, page 37. Page 37 is Sansho Marfumule Drugumba Rene Juni Dedo Takar Jindabji Bene Drong so Takar Kabayu Charles. And they Jikina Tenders Chamberlains Katas and Nato. The chose on the Drong
Not the best.
Drong
Yeah.
Drong Jangchubling.
Mhm.
And the Renchen of the pops at the Drong or Pabdo.
Yini and Kaka is such a Kaka.
다 가가데스 가가데스 내가 챔버였으나 조금은 뭐지 되는 정도 가르쳤는데 때도 착할 때 청소 때도서 적응 때도로 안다블라 왜네 답도 공도 내도 된지 안 생각하는 너무 스타일을 해서 지금 조금은 뭐지 뭐 마치 송송한테 Drong Gombe Travatis, Trajuntas of our Drong Pen Tika, Huxan San Chop Survey.
这两多那么这个就差不多，个就大陆中尼那路西方那边那，比些地路个就差不多。因为这对公共都全部都。이거 사러 디비가 가주 기타 디루까지 찾아들어간 동어 선도서야 디루까지 찾아들어가 디니다 당본 동어 공부에 아 프로세스는 있고 사자들라 그래 동어 공부 사자들이 디비 동어 딱 괜찮다고 근데 예를 들면 사자들 그런 배지 동어 선도서 동어 차스로 근데 기타 원인 본 동어 공부가 또 잡아댔어요.
Me,
Okay, yeah.
broken English.
No, very good English.
Yes, it's what I was saying is correct. not very detailed that I didn't know, but in the Drong area they're called Dedo, and this here is Dedo. But very early on, in our hometown dialogue, we call Bongomba, not Drongor Gomba, but the Drongor is where Drong, which is coming from the Drongor monastery. In the old days, the Drongor monks, they go to Drong for teaching. And this teaching occur either 2 years or 4 years, where the Drong monks camped that area, and then later it's become that area as a Drong place, or Drong or even monastery or Kemet. But there was, I think then there is a sort of cave or retreat cave, but then Rinchen Punso write down or copy or translate these texts at that place. Right.
As it says on page 37, if you find in the middle of the page where it says, from the pages of the red copper scrolls, I, the Drkumpa Ratna Rinchen Punso, decoded these instructions clearly while I was staying at the solitary place of Drong near Tidrodakar. So Kempo was pointing out the auspiciousness of the connection there.
네, 늘 상쇼말 보기 주됐다. 쇼군라면 mambo 요한데 늘 상쇼말 보기 주됐다. 때 미시라 미시는 거지. 전에다 고판라워도 내내 말 칼라폰노 정도. 근데 지금은 렌션 플로롱 좀이자 이나 눈들 때찬도 봐. 근데 차이도 지라 휴식자 말했어. 지금은 렌션 플로롱 좀이자 삼삼을
And so as it says here, there the pages of the red copper scrolls. So as you know, there are the different colored terma scrolls. So he won't get into that so much right now. But so these come from the copper scrolls, and then you have these following words which are probably the from Rinchen Punso himself, his own words.
Whose words?
Rinchen Punso.
And we can see even that the earlier line from the pages of the red copper that and the Tibetan sentence has their socks, the sign of dharma. So this, I don't remember when I added this text, the original one has or not. I don't remember. This could be later when people put in computer may have.
So are you saying it actually that section shouldn't have the terzat?
Yes, that's my.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
should not.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, so it has this, if you see it in the Tibetan, it has the terzat, that last paragraph, but Kim Rinpoche is saying it should actually be not that. It should be just an ordinary set.
네, 다른 점포도 공부송에 임바 시샤다 나서 이치진 네네 휴샤나 zonton chero tampan chenden 그 마한 구를 까는 시타와 같이 된데 템바 마공상 다들 설명이 좀 이치가 four lines
So then,
matches.
oh,
Does four line matches in English? You can read in English.
yeah. Listen, all you sublime, wise Vajra brothers and sisters. Did the Mahaguru have the foreknowledge about these instructions being taught here at this present time or not?
One line more.
Oh, okay. These days, it is hard to find anyone unpretentious who has great faith in the teachings.
다 송탕소 다 지난번에 년로 제스 단다 런전분소 랑게 되네 단다 빼차 때르트 되네 되네 상쇼네 단 간두게 다예 돈 말. 그 프로젝트 저 줄와레스 다들 줄네 되네 다 좁고 남바 거기 로만 남바 되네 송만은 거 남바.
So Rinchen Punso, so first he's saying, please listen. And so he, having extracted the terma, then he also then decoded it from Dakini script, writing it into readable or translating it into readable Tibetan. And so then he says, listen, all you students, sublime, wise Vajra brothers and sisters.
마한 그룹 나타 오지는 부치 그룹에만 중에 기깔롱 시에 따와라 어느 단대 튀들 되니 잘레네바 템바레스 템바탄데 tam주 공부양자 데다 템바레스 그때 요바테 추론 속에 하코금도 했어 아까 말씀했어요. So
Tiniti inchike la tesa kakareve.
Bincho here at this present time.
Did he have the
Yeah,
foreknowledge
this
or
is
not?
quite different in English.
Mhm.
This is what we call rhetorical questions. Rhetorical questions. Here is teaching, Guru Rinpoche is teaching exactly what it be at this moment. He's saying, do you still don't understand?
So he's actually asking the reader, he's asking the students,
Mhm.
do you not understand what the Mahaguru is teaching now? Do you understand or not? Is that-
Not or not. It
Oh, okay.
means you should understand.
You should understand.
Why you don't understand? Kind of.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a rhetorical question.
Okay.
Rhetorical question is saying the other way, but showing positive way. So this English is interesting one, yeah. Did the Mahaguru have the perfect knowledge about these instructions? I think we need to change this.
Mhm.
Translate up until Mahaguru Kalung Hitawar Tati to the Demba. Teaching at this moment, at this time, the Kalung of Mahaguru, the teaching of Guru Rinpoche, exactly what it is. Don't you understand?
Mhm.
So don't you understand? You should understand it. 아들 술미 기장 이치가 maybe this also quite Tadu these days nowadays 술미 기장 without
Effort.
print, without fabrication,
Mhm.
but you don't believe. Rinchen Punzo is saying, I understand what exactly Guru Rinpoche is teaching these days, but why you guys don't understand or why you don't understand. And he said he's doing without any fabrication or any faults.
Mhm.
But people still don't, people still give.
It's still hard to believe, for them to believe
Yeah,
Ichika.
yeah.
Uh-huh. It's hard for people to believe.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, the English says these days it's hard to find anyone unpretentious who has great faith in the teachings. Yeah.
okay.
Mhm.
And TV Drong Chubi Xiawadro Chomi Rono Yong Be Sachos Moshi maybe your Qin Chagdong Yong Tamchun the Yingin Ziburjiang for lines.
Or work to establish your own independent freedom without partiality to places where self-appearances are vast. Go to where there aren't people you know, so attachment and aversions are less. Hold these Dharma instructions in the depths of your heart.
Okay, yeah. TV means opposite. Yeah? TV, you should understand and you should confidence in the text.
You should have confidence in the
Uh-huh.
text.
But you have opposite things. So that's why TV,
Mhm.
you should do this. Wrong should be shower drop.
Following you,
Should-
fucker.
Someone said to compare.
No, it might be some la yang kung so the yang may may not so gi may may yang pa kung so
Oh.
ting makashi jung so
Ah,
ki
yeah,
kasa channel support.
Okay.
Good.
TV 학 교통도에
They way.
Mhm.
So therefore.
wrong should be shower drop. One should wrong key, wrong chubam, wrong yubi gone, and should shower drop of race.
Yeah, so having establishing independence, you should practice the Dharma.
처음에 로너 영배 사줬어. 처음에 한다. 그래서 잘sel랑은 무슨 파열봉을 잘sel랑은 있어. 뒤지고 다 처음에는 풀에 맞아 장감 처음에 드램스 네 콜런드로 근데 네 가사 콜런드로 뭐 칸나 칸토 된주 뭐 보시 텐디치 리퉁라만 드램 텐디치 해야 돼. 처음에 드램 봤어. 경민 림바티 제가 있나 랑게 나와테 용비다 사조를 램도 그래서 랑나 양선은 랑게 나와테 그 더보 많이 봐 랑게 나와테 봐 방법이 나와서 랑게 나와서 나고
So yung rangi nanga is jumbo cha.
your feeling no 랑게 나와서 랑 feeling
So then this next part of so therefore work to establish your own independent freedom without partiality. Go to places where self-appearances are vast. So this here, the without partiality is connected to the places, and that one should seek out places that are, not places that create feelings of attachment or aversion, just like it says in the Bodhisattva practices, resorting to secluded places is the Bodhisattva's practice. So here, to kind of go off on one's own to holy places, to wander, from sort of retreat dwelling to retreat dwelling, so that one is really removed from those places and people which stimulate attachment and aversion, and then where the Jangchubling,
This- maybe my English, but wrong now here means your own
feeling.
Here's self-appearances. Is that same thing?
Pena rang la gari nang na the torwa yana da
Mhm.
namto yana da the dushi yana da do the tamare.
Whatever comes in your mind. So that kind of place you need to go. 무엇이 maybe your 친 작동용 아니처럼 민모 마시바 사자하 마고바 텐들이 침바이나 wrong 남주 작바도 당와 요바테 만용도 그래서
So then as it says, go to where there aren't people or where there are few people, that you recognize or know, where attachments and aversions are less. And so keeping to these places, then the mind of partiality is pacified or decreases.
I come from far away from here and went to many countries, but we still know more and more people. So yes, one day maybe need to go another. Last. Okay, this tea break. What they call it?
So we can take a break, a short break. for tea.
How long?
Gaduba.
아마
Nishu, two non-Nishu's.
Come back and forth.
Yeah. Go first, please. Have tea.
Exactly.
Se resuelve aquí como a las 5:00
Sí,
o sea, a las 5:00, o sea,
sí, yo estoy casi lista, con una chaqueta encima y ya.
Relative to audience. Okay. Thank you, everyone. I'm back again, and after coffee or tea, the adoption awareness is much sharper and clearer. And a little bit agitated, maybe, or sleepy. It doesn't matter. It's awareness. So now we need to go to this place there, unknown place, wandering around. And don't try to find a person who you know. And once you be able to reduce hatred and desire and so forth, then here, tamchun de nyingin zimpur jiang, tamchu gomba yangza, tamchu de churon nyingin zimpur sana, so nying de taksa, te jiang sana, churon te senda, jiang bang, churon te tamja tempo simpuresh.
And so then the next line there says, hold these Dharma instructions in the depths of your heart. So then as it refers to the Damchu, this is these instructions, particularly referring to these Yangsab instructions. So it's then hold them, to keep them in your heart, as with like a very stable commitment.
Hindu kera tsendi majingbe chima tenyer lama tsokto kor ju chong kingsem lokto manchibe no den answer ningru den baye chedron china nine dollar yip. We need to read 5 lines.
Okay, so then as it says, do not cling to pleasures, desires, fame, and concerns for this life. Strive for future lifetimes and hold your guru upon your crown. Do not stay with those who are stubborn, conceited, and have wrong ideas. If you find a worthy companion with good disposition and perseverance, take them with you as your partner.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So
I think the early line, Dharma instructions, but Tibetan we have Tamchu, maybe.
mm-hmm.
That sublime Dharma seems. Is that want to add?
Yeah, so that's why also that here what's translated as Dharma instructions is sometimes translated as sublime Dharma or authentic Dharma, and also maybe because it has this connection with the same word that's found in the Yangsab when referring to the Yangsab. Yeah.
So now it's almost like 37 Bodhisattva practice. First, you need to abandon your own place, and then you need to do this practice. Jindu kera tsendi majingbe. One should not forgetting lamara. Then ngaso tsendi bubig lusula bubig chula kariyosuna. Tsendi la gobi ju chima la gobi choose yate tse chimi vichedimba 드네. 그 추중세는 디자 보시라 여러. 텔레데는 런전 본소 통게 롱 그턴도 단다 센디기 샤와당 윤호롱추 켄도 장도 진도 텐제게 마칭바 아니 초방 마치고 그래서
So here it's fairly self-explanatory as it says, do not cling to the pleasures, desires, fame, and concern for this life. So there's, the understanding or the custom, within the practicing the Dharma, and it is often said, in Tibet that, to practice, to avoid kind of falling into practicing the Dharma based on the limited concerns of this life, or even, based on, desires for certain ripenings and future lives. So as Rinchen Punsok here is saying, to not fall into the trap of practicing the Dharma in order to achieve, your own purpose and kind of concerned with the limited worldly objectives of this life, like motivated by desire for fame or wealth and possessions and so forth. So not clinging to these, then one should practice the authentic Dharma as it is meant to be.
Yeah, most of the time I have some rejections from our Western friends that if your Dharma practice is not for your happiness and healthy and well-being in this life, then what the purpose of practice Dharma? But in the East, the training is a little bit different. That if you are in such teachings, we call Xianba Xichar.
So in the Sakya tradition, there are the four freedoms from the four attachments. So if you cling to or attach to this life, you're not a practitioner, Rebe or Chubambe.
That's clear. Jerselang Karzong Sena, Dungar Malu Dakten Dulinjong, Zog Songji Champagne Seminjong, teacher Dagde Shen Dungar Tayanda Jerselang. Dungar Rang Dungar Jung said the Tamjit Nala Kiboch Chungunga, which Chungunga, they were Chungusambutene.
And also, as it says in the 37 Bodhisattva practices, all suffering without exception comes from wishing for one's own happiness. The perfect Buddhas arise from the altruistic mind. Therefore, completely abandoning one's own purpose in order to accomplish the welfare and benefit of others is the Bodhisattva's practice. And so, to practice from a place of, I want to be happy, I want to be well, trying to, achieve something for oneself, really motivated to achieve one's own purpose, actually ends up bringing the opposite. And so as it also says in the 37 Bodhisattva practices, to completely abandoning the concerns of this life is the Bodhisattva's practice. So to really practice the Dharma means really giving up any expectations or concerns with regard to the ripenings of, within this limited life.
근데 치마 던일 라마 쪽도 거스 다센데 또 고담 그다 장랭트 토르토바인 차우담에와 차우토바인 근데 담배 주시아마한테 용네 담배 주시아마한테 가르쳐 그래서는 치마 던일 그래서 근데 재미있게 던들 가르쳐 그래서는 저 주줍도 되는 라면 난주로서야 개점 보신 랍게서 라마 난주도 개점 대인도 치마 던일 제네 는 주시아마한테 라마 지우주도 금마음 지우주도 콜 지우주도 는 남주 지우주도 콜 그래서
And so first, then giving up the concerns for this life, or without concern for this life, but really thinking long term. With the long term perspective of future lives and the ultimate fruition. Then giving up attachment, the mind of attachment and aversion. Then one practices the sublime Dharma. With the objective, as it says here, thinking of a future lifetime. So it says, striving for future lifetimes, hold your guru upon the crown of your head. And so in order to practice the Dharma, the source of all blessings is the guru, which is why we also practice guru yoga. So here, then the instruction is to meditate on the guru at the crown of your head.
This is, I think, a very delicate subject in Dharma teachings, and especially in others, because if you say Dharma teaching is nothing to do with your happiness and well-being, then people, of course, immediately reject things that especially beginners. But here, I'm kind of repeating what text appears, and also I think we are kind of, our mind is already announced that we don't really hear sensitive things that doesn't agitate our mind. So we are either good at our practice, or we are kind of don't really care that much about it. But either way, it's a good thing to remind us we are here, and we don't forget that. Then, Ju Chong King Sam Lok To Man Chi Bi Nu Den Ngong Chu Ning Lu Den Ba Yi Xie Zhong Qi Na Na Yin Da Le Yi Ju Me Xian Da Ren Qian Peng Zuo Kong Le Ju Sen Na Na Yin Da Le Xie Xe Na and Chu Rong Zuo Le De Da Yu Den Yu Na Na Nyam De Shoks Na Nyam De Rokus Na Nyam De Chu Nyam Ne Qie Kos and 제가 치마라요 아니면 타비신 로초 그래서는 대중력 딱 여된 가르쳐 거여서는 주총 킹슨 록토만 집에 주총보서는 배 심신차고 미신차고 맞을 쯤 된대다 킹슨다 맞을 쯤이요 록토서는 주 심하시지 하마고 봐 텐제기 다 록도전 텐제요가 텐제기 샘만지 바센트 주 총도만이 킹샘에 바 록도 메베키 미 누당 템바 텐다위가 난 소리인지 공사 닝르이 통템바 닝르이도 템바스는 배 수바당 존주나 텐제 템바 시요나 텐데던 냄베인 제로 시 암, 조보암, 다 주바 공부로만 되려나? 근데 나냠다. 나다고 냠는치는 냠다. 제 가공지라. 제마 집이신가나? 너죠 그래서.
So dini di chirang dinda mena dini nga nyamdu yong di dinda daware be yang na me ditsu nangshin nyamdu deju yomare because in the English it says
in Tibetan, where saying
it says do not stay with those that are stubborn, conceited, and have wrong ideas. If you find a worthy companion with good disposition and perseverance, take them with you as your partner.
I think this is quite different here. Here it's saying, if you have, if a friends means Rinchen Punzok's friend, means you are.
You are
If
his friend.
If you are my friend, if you have perseverance and diligent, Ngur, or bone and heart,
Courage.
and courage, and you are a suitable vessel, no damn. And if you don't have
that if you're
bad
stubborn,
qualities,
if you're
stubborn, arrogant, and wrong views. So please come with me. Means you can practice with me. I can lead you. I can take you. If you are stubborn and arrogant and stupid, I cannot take you with me. Come with me or comes with my come
then
as
come
my friend.
along with me.
Yeah.
Come as my friend. Yeah.
So now, if you don't have these, you have these good qualities, and you don't have any bad qualities. And if you want to come, you come. I take you to wherever you want.
Yoga, the Shinkan, that if you
Dialectic it means you can come with me wherever I go. It means he practiced all his life, and in Tibetan often say "Tsendi Gala Chimachi." Enjoy this life and happy in the next life.
enjoyment in this life and happiness in the next life.
Maybe you can put better English.
I think you did it really well yourself
Oh.
right now. Yeah, right.
So far,
I mean,
okay.
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it another way. So yeah.
So since saying you good people come with me, if you are mess up things, I would not say Rinchen Punzo say go that direction. Next day maybe he comes instead. You are good people too, so come. But at least his teaching is showing that at least be good. Jarvi tukchu satra nyam nanjing origin jela sorba nyangnende chungmi ritu tangmang zardujang songen jana romnyang chubachung ji la mere dobla matoba kongjung lamhong shenju mefande rongcha chubi nyam mayina. Maybe we can read.
So then it says, practice the profound treasure extracts of the enlightened minds of the victorious ones. Pray to the master of Udayana from your heart. In impartial mountain retreats, train in the expression of pure appearances. Sustain the conduct of the equal taste of both good and bad circumstances. Do not hope for pleasure. Do not fear for pain. Take everything as it appears onto the path and have no regrets in your mind. Are you practitioners of the Dharma or not?
Oh,
Or yeah,
maybe that is also interesting translation. Anyway, we can go line by line. So now he said, come with me. Now what we need to do is including himself, is saying, seems that English is in that way or not? Practice. We practice maybe, yeah. What should we do? Jarvi took you Sapternyam Nanjing. We practice Jarvi took you Sapter, the profound. Oh,
yeah, it's okay.
Sabi Terchi, there, Tayang, Jarva Sanji, Jumlende, Soba Sanji Namji, and it told you that would listen. That Jerson Sanji Chujapon with Yetishan, Sumbaret, the Nani Jong, and the Teresayate, Termasayate, and Sanji told you that would listen. 10 맞죠 그 냠랭 그래서 다 맞죠 그냥 무슨 냠 맞죠 처음에 좀 냠랭 다 냠들랑 랭한테 항상 뭐 보여 나요 냠들랭한테 기마도요 말해서
So this profound terma of is really like the quintessence, the heart essence of the victorious one. So of all the 84,000 different categories of the Buddha's teachings, within that terma, and this terma in particular is like the very sort of quintessence, or the very innermost heart essence of the Buddha's teachings. And so Rinchen Punsok is sort of inciting, everyone together with himself in the practice of the sublime Dharma.
오리진젤로 소르와닝인데 무르름 보젤로 맞죠 남님 셈해 봤어요. 다 남신트 안 소르와닝이 젤네 데프선 닝이 카자마인데 닝이 젤네 데프레스
So then it says, pray to the master of Udayana from your heart. So here it is, that not just, with your mouth to pray to Guru Rinpoche, but really from the depths of your heart.
총미를 당나 자르죠. 근데 총민 좀 받쳐서 리투다나 볼이나 근데 리투 램사죠. 리투 램사. 리투 유지 로지 근데 나한테 냠난치 나와카시데 용 나와카시지는 현다원 리투 현다원 로 대인도 초매바 초직了마데 바치 좀 현현了로야들 총미 리투 로야테 당나 잘 투장스는 근데 남주 상당히 마다베 나와요 봐 신전 딩아게 트라르세 딩아게 트로르세 예와 체체는 트라세도 보체다 너는 정말도 소바레선 소바세도 보치죠 대단 많이 봐 당나게 따왔다 당나 자르장선은 간다 냠낸 제그레스 냠낸 가르치 그래서는 총매를 좀 램치니 나는 담지 답에 나와요 봐 네. 냠낸 제그레스
And so then as it says, in impartial mountain retreats, train in the expressions of pure appearances. So so this word impartial is actually also more like without direction, because it is referring to, as like a wandering yogi who goes from retreat place to retreat place, just keeping to retreat. So they may stay for however long, however many months at a time, and once retreat, dwelling, isolated in the mountains, and then they move on to another retreat place without direction, right? Just go wandering, from retreat place to retreat place and just staying in retreat. And then as it says,
maybe also that includes you don't choose a place to go wherever ends.
Wherever you end up.
Yeah.
And so then, as it says, train in the expressions of pure appearances. So actually, more like, to really become familiar with, or really sort of clarify or kind of purify to the extent that the phenomena that you experience is that of pure, purely pure appearance. Because ordinarily what we experience as ordinary beings is primarily impure appearances. So we have all of these biases, and we view some as enemies, we view others as friends, we have concepts of clean and dirty, pure and impure, but when one really dwells within the perception of pure appearance, all appears as completely pure expression of empty appearances. And so everything eventually becomes the ongoing display or the phenomena of pure appearance. So then the next line says, sustain the equal taste of both good and bad circumstances. So what is then the conduct that should be engaged? It is, one that equalizes that of pure and impure, or positive and negative, so that positive and negative are one single flavor, one single taste. So you're not bound by concepts that think, this is really good, this is good, and so therefore there's this attachment, or it must be taken up, and there's also not the concept of this is bad, and so therefore it should be rejected, but good and bad, there are no longer these dualistic concepts of good and bad, and so all conduct becomes essentially pure conduct.
Okay. You are Jibo Yongyala, Rewa Chini, and the Jibu Kichita, Shawadrobia, Tayan, Telayang, Ying Machuban, Tela, Tonomeba, and Dupo Yanjiri, some neon, Tele, Yoyan, Temayang, like Chita, Young Shawadrobia, Tendri, Mayimba, you don't need to go into that.
And then, as it says, do not hope for pleasure, do not fear pain. And so, Gangjung Lam Longshe Gyume, but La Yimbe, Lami. Okay. And so, thinking, having hope for things to be pleasurable or to hope for enjoyment and pleasure, then without any interest based on these attachment to pleasure, hoping for something, and also without pushing away or rejecting anything out of fear, thinking, I hope for this, and I don't want that, because thinking that something bad will happen, or that if there's something that one fears. So without being bound by hope and fear in this way, then experience becomes equalized.
This one professor told me that Buddhist practice is almost like swimming against currents. It's everything's against. If you are a good practitioner, everything's hit you and everything's overwhelm you. But somehow then we need to, without fighting, can overcome that current. But that's a difficult part of the learning Dharma.
Without fighting, can overcome the current.
Yeah. So that's the whatever comes, you don't have any regret. Either lost everything or gain.
Regardless of whether you lose or gain.
Yeah. Consume, yeah, lamzong. So, 가르침원이나 롱기 추냐는 시약 토 로토바 슈모이나 저는 말아서 신주 매바지는 거 신주 받는 매바지.
And so, as it says, take everything that appears onto the path and have no regrets in the mind. So, whatever it is that arises, regardless, whatever it is, can be brought onto the path as Dharma practice. And when one has this kind of attitude, or when one is able to practice in this way, bringing whatever arises onto the path, there are no regrets.
I think the last line we need to your help. Let's see. Jangchubling. This is another rhetorical question. He's saying, isn't this our Dharma practitioners' practice?
Is this not what we Dharma practitioners are supposed to practice? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Means.
Yeah, of course we are. Yes.
Yeah,
is this not how we're supposed to practice?
Yeah.
Is this not?
This is not the Dharma. This is the.
But Rangchak is Rang Dangshin, or as we. Okay. Yeah. So.
Haha, Sergi.
Is that haha you say?
While saying haha, he's saying it's funny. It's everything's why we are doing practice Dharma. Everything's fine, We mess up somehow. Now, this is
so here it says haha zergi. So haha you say, or haha?
No, I think it's saying Rinpoche Punso himself.
Himself, okay.
Yeah. During his saying kind of Longchen bus riding and Qing Zhou as this when he look at he knows everything's empty, but he sees things, bizarre things arise. Am I crazy? That kind of thing. Yeah. So he's saying this uncontrollable samsaric pot that's kind of cooking or sort of tasty things, and then he thought, why are we doing this? That's 하하슬치 레지따르지 활동은 때 풍부함인로 비텐저 you. So this is difficult to understand, I think, but based on other Dzogchen readings, maybe this saying, Reishi for a while, 大一part the sign of means death, or maybe it will not, or maybe I will not die for a while.
So maybe this is okay. Except there's an auspicious interdependence that at some point you will not fall into the Bardo signs.
Not you. It's, I think it's Regent himself. He's
That maybe for the time being, there aren't any signs of my approaching death, kind of.
Mimbeb
They have not fallen.
seems like himself. Mimbeb is Tibetan grammar shows that he will not bring down the sign of Pardo for a while.
Okay.
And he has this, English often translates this interdependent, but that's fine. But he really means he has these auspicious karmic things, and he will accomplish, or he will attain the Pumpo Langme, means rainbow body. So rainbow bodies are usually rainbow body. Once you attain a rainbow body, you don't need to go through Pardo. That's the idea.
Okay.
So he's saying, I will achieve rainbow body, and I will not go through the Pardo. And then Mangalam Tashi, that those are what we have. So since we are reading these texts backward, and now we can look at page 33 that we discussed the title. And the last title, in the Colophon title, is called, where it starts.
Zopa Chimpo.
Zopachembo Musum. At the hard essence of direct review or Muslim take the direct perception, Greek perfection. That's in Dzogchen tradition. We know there's an outer, there's a mind theory, there's either called space theory or dense theory, and then the hidden sections theory.
Series, he said.
Series, yeah.
Or
And
category.
then category.
On page 33 at the bottom. He's talking about the title that's
Dzogchen,
in, it's in italics.
If we just talk about Greek perfection, then we have hard essence that comes out. And in pit instruction series, we have these four cycles: the outer, the inner, and the secret and utmost secret cycle. And the Nyingtik belongs to the very last one, the utmost secret cycle. So these texts, what we are looking at, this belongs to Nyingtik, which means the utmost secret cycle. What that tells us is when doxography, the Dzogchen doxography has 9 yanas,
The 9 vehicles and the 9 stages.
Niantu Rangjar Xiangsimsong, or
So the 3 of Shravaka, Pratyekya Buddha, and Bodhisattva.
and then Chaju Juju Nanjur Jusung,
The 4 tantras of Kriya Tantra, Charya Tantra, Yoga Tantra, and Anuttara Yoga Tantra.
then Maha Anu Adisung,
The 3 of Maha.
I don't think you have Anuttara Yoga on that list. It's just Kriya.
Oh,
Charya,
sorry.
Yoga,
not
Yeah,
yet.
sorry, thank you.
and then Maha.
And then Maha, Anu, and Ati.
Adi Yoga means Dzogchen. Dzogchen and Adi Yoga are the same. Dipechande Dzogba Chenbo Musum Ningte. Karasine Musum Salabarisana, Tanda Ningte Chikinala, Togart Tenglo. Togart Tendu, the Togart Musum Jilambre, the Ningte Canoli, Musum Ningtex. Tea cheap. It isn't Pechande.
So as it says, what it's translated here as the directly revealed, which is Munsun in Tibetan. And so in the category, so it's saying that this text belongs to in the category of Ati or Dzogchen. Then so you have that it is Ningte, the heart essence, and within that then it's also Munsum, or the directly revealed, meaning that it also contains Togao, the teachings of Togao.
Yeah. Toga practice. There's many English translations. Toga, the term toga, and I still don't know what to do with that. But the trick is often cutting through. It's easy. Everyone uses it. But toga comes to toga. It's difficult to translate it. Now, it's something related with visions that you see by your naked eyes. So that's why it's called, here is direct reveal, but it's not revealing. It's just direct perception.
Direct perception.
That sees direct perception. I see the vision. That's the Toga vision practice.
So it's referring to actually seeing the visions of Togal that occur during Togal practice.
Either you think that as Togal, Togal means direct transcend, or
directly transcending.
Yeah, directly transcending, or cross
Leaping over,
leaping over, crossover, jumping over. So something that skips to be go to next level. And either you are thinking that as you don't need to go step by step to attain certain realization, or you can think that as soon as you see division, everything kind of cross from transcending, transcending. Maybe that way too. Either way, when say Toga, think about the vision practice. That's not just visualization and vision are totally different here. So vision practice means you are seeing vision,
With your naked eye.
naked eye, without imagining. That's the vision. And that's a toga that leads you or cross you or leap you or lead you, or that's whatever you
It
want to use.
catapults you over.
Yeah, just don't what they call stumble over.
Don't stumble over.
Yeah. Either jump or leap or cross or whatever you want to do, but don't. That's and this is the seems this all the title. So for example, some integrity remember hilam drivu some the temba, that is seems the title.
Oh, all of it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So actually all of it,
Except it's also.
except for the Zogso, except for have been completed, that actually part of the title is also the stages of instructions on the ground path and fruition of the heart essence of the directly revealed great, or directly what was the word that he used before? Seen great perfection. These are the teachings of, so that, yeah. You get not including that last line there. But these are the teachings of the stages of instructions on the path, on the ground path and fruition of the heart essence of the directly revealed great, or the direct revelations of the great perfection.
Now, if you look at our
Direct perception.
title and
Page 11.
page 11, yes. The English, I mean, seems everything's, of course, okay. And we cannot really, once you translate one language to another language, it cannot really make identical. But I think here we could, Tibetan seems to read this gun, it's Yishi gun.
So
All the gnosis, all the primordial knowings, all the wisdoms, and some English translations.
it's actually kun is translated as complete here.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
because gun talk together, but Tibetan reads Yishi gun.
So actually the kun is connected more with the yishi.
Yes.
So all of the
I try to translate
completion stages
these
of wisdom.
in my way, but it's similar. I think we could say the perfection of all the gnosis of the completion stage in the utmost profound realization of the sublime Dharma. Do you need to repeat? Or
Yeah, could you repeat that?
maybe I write down.
Oh, okay. Yeah. The perfection of all the gnosis, is it gnosis or gnosis? Yeah, gnosis
Yes.
of the completion stage and the utmost profound realization of the sublime Dharma.
Seems all wisdom, because there's not only one, but we talk about 5 wisdoms or the stages of wisdoms and all kinds of.
So all the primordial wisdoms, if you were going to translate it that way, of
Yeah.
the completion stage, or all the
So does he have the singular gnosis or the plural gnosis?
Plural.
plural
Yeah,
gnosis.
gnosis.
Yeah.
Can you repeat one?
One more? Okay, yes. The perfection of all the gnosis of the completion stage in the utmost profound realization of the sublime Dharma. So it seems like the point is really about all the types of wisdom.
Yes. Yishi kun
in
Chopard.
the completion stage. Yeah.
Seems that how Tibetan reads.
Mhm.
And also in a tea we have He Lam Dribu or has too. He Lam Dribu and Dribu.
And so then there's also the gnosis or the individual gnosis or primordial wisdoms of the ground, the path, and the fruition.
And that is the title that we have. And of course, I think a little bit sort of history of Yingting, maybe I can talk about. Maybe if you are interested in, I have my master thesis that talks about these lineages and a little bit about the Dzogchen teaching. You have
I can share it.
that you can share that to our friends. And mainly in the history, the lineage they call Jarwa Gongbi Juba, Ringzi Tai Juba, and Kongsan Yinggung Juba, the three lineages. Jarwa Gongbi Juba.
So the you would maybe translate it in a different way, but like the enlightened intent lineage of the victorious ones.
Yeah, it's I have this little bit slight different idea of the Gongba.
Gongba is a hard
It's
one.
very difficult
Yeah.
Tibetan.
Yes.
Lately, I translated realization.
As realization.
That's
Mhm.
seems to work better. But intent or the intention,
Yeah, I see.
ideally, Buddha doesn't have intention.
Intention.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but that's a little bit difficult.
So realization would be.
But
yeah.
people translate just, I think, mind-to-mind transmission. The
they-
Gongbi Juba, the
oh,
Gongba
s-
has mind.
So the mind-to-mind
Transmission.
transmission lineage of the victorious
Yeah.
ones. Mhm. That's the first category, and then the second one of symbols. The guide.
Ringzin Tai Juba, the
So the
Vidyadharas.
symbol lineage of the Vidyadharas or the awareness holders.
Mhm. And a Kangsan Yingkung Juba, the person to person
Transmission
transmitted
of
the
the
ear
hearing
or
through
to
hearing.
hearing. Yes,
Mhm.
that's
Mhm.
And of course, then the Dzogchen goes back to Dharmakaya, to Sambhogakaya, to Nirmanakaya. This transmission, the very first transmission that we call Vidyadhara or the Samantabhadra, that's Dharmakaya, to the five family Buddhas, that's called Jarwa Gongbi Juba, the mind-to-mind transmission of the Tathagatas. And then we have Ringzin Tai Juba. This Ringzin is Vidyadharas or the Rukpa holders. That's
Awareness holders. Yeah.
awareness holders. And they don't really need to hear from one thing verbally, and few gestures, few signs can transmit the
Transmission
teaching.
happens through signs and symbols.
And particular one is when Guru Rinpoche Nanjush Shirisinghatan Yaris.
So it was what he received from Shri Singha.
And Shirisinghage Dingzom Namkala something.
So there was a big giant scorpion that manifested in the sky.
No.
No. Oh.
That's different. Maybe
Oh, okay.
another. He pointing his
His finger,
to the sky, and he say a few words, but that's to count as the sign transmission. And Guru Rinpoche suddenly become realized master as same as Hirisingma. So that's the Rinzin Tai.
So that's the awareness holder transmission of symbols through symbols.
And then before that, the first human master that we call Garab Dorje. Yeah. Garab Dorje story that when he was standing, he was just ordinary human being. When he sit down, he was ordinary human being. But when he stand up, he also already awakening. Working.
So in the time, but like from sitting, he was sitting down, he was an ordinary being, and just in that moment of then standing up, he became a fully realized master.
Yeah, means he, before he didn't get Dzogchen teachings, but when he sit down to get the teaching and then he stand up and he's already really enlightened being. So we should be that circumstances too, yeah. Everyone is equal.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Would that be an example of realization without articulation?
Yes. We have in a Dzogchen lineage, until Guru Rinpoche, it's all, we are not including the mind-mind transmission, but then Garab Dorje to Guru Rinpoche, they are all the sign transmission lineage.
So all of those transmission happen by way of symbols and signs. So yeah, without articulation.
And then we have Kansa Nyenju. So now we could have someone can do much better than someone. I never want to say including us, then say people say, who? Us? We are much better than that. We often think, okay. So anyway, that's the three lineages.
So then the third one he mentioned again was actually the one that is, person to person through like the hearing, transmission through hearing. So that's with articulation.
Yeah, that's the texts are written, and these are Dharma Guru Rinpoche wrote and taught to Yishin Soja or others, and then they bury as tertiary and then reviewed by other masters. And here, that story we can see here. But in a Tibetan lineage, there's not only Guru Rinpoche's Dzogchen, but all the Dzogchens are not come down from Guru Rinpoche. There's Bimala Mitra's Dzogchen and Biruzana's Dzogchen. And maybe small story that Bimala Mitra's lineage we call Bima Nyingtik. Now we know Nyingtik, the heart essence. Bimala Mitra has heart essence, and then Bimala's teaching comes down up to Longchenpa, and at that time, Longchenpa wrote the essence of, or the condensation of the Bimala Mitra's heart essence. So then we have Bimala Mitra's heart essence. And then Guru Rinpoche taught Yishin Soja and come through Terma, and also the Rinchen Punso's Terma is Guru Rinpoche's lineage. That is in Longchenpa's writings, it's called Kandro Nyingtik, the Dakinis, heart essence of Dakinis. And then Longchenpa wrote his own writings called or the quintessential of the Dakinis.
Quintessence.
Quintessence of Dakinis. So these two lineage comes to Longchenpa, then it's become one. Longchenpa wrote another text called Samoyante, the profound, almost out essence. There he combined these together.
The profound innermost essence, heart essence, or the profound innermost heart essence, or the profound utmost heart essence.
Samoyante. Yeah.
Or essence.
So that's what we have in the Nyingtik lineage, heart essence lineage. These texts belongs to heart essence lineage. This is, this is Ngur Rinpoche's. Here, say, Urjin Kempo Pema Samba Way, Jagar Kipi Tukyu Sang Lang, Nyams along with Jen Kin top. 3 lines.
I think
It's
13, right? Are we
35.
On, we're on 35. Okay.
It's still these are actual, the original color form, I think, of the game. Yeah?
So what,
Beginning.
at the beginning here, Organ?
Yeah.
So I, Master Padmasambhava of Udayana, received these secret extracts of the enlightened minds of the masters of India. Did I do it today? Or no, not
One
that.
more. 3 lines.
3 lines. Through practicing these, I gained the attainment of becoming freed from both birth and death.
다 배치한데 감대체는 그런 것이 지발에서는 감대체는 게 말용어에서 urgent campus 다 urgent campus는 urgent yours control 는 캠보 페마삼바가 선거를 것이지 자간 기비 특유상 곤란한 공개 자가인 개발남진 제베 특유주도 티 상화 곤란 단도 상고란선다 상화 요체 탐지는 소초적도 상화 탐지 초적도 때문에 소 냠슬랑 저 랑선은 저 트릭와인스 ring네 다 냠슬랑 용도 냠슬랑 와라 때네 공렉 제와의 시원이 방법이 도르지 그거 단절이 포함된 것 공렉 톱선선도나 한다 양자 조그램이 시군조 대 냠슬랑 와라 때네 하는 공 제신님 본것 톱선선
So then where is it then that this text originates from? So it comes then directly from the master of Orgyen, Padmasambhava, being born in the land of Udayana. And it is then the extracts, the condensed essence, or kind of the subsumed essence of all the enlightened minds of the masters of India. So all of the learned masters in India, and this is, it kind of contains the essence of all that can be found, within all of the works of the great Indian masters, sort of in a single essence. And so then by practicing this meaning this this text, or what's contained here from the Yangtze, this completion of primordial wisdom, is then he reached this state, or it says, I gained the attainment of becoming free from both birth and death. So he attained the Vajra body manifesting, the rainbow body, or attain the rainbow body, the Vajra body, free, which is beyond or has transcend both the realm of birth and death. Having abandoned birth and death, the full practice of these teachings then leads to that ultimate fruition of attaining the kaya of primordial awareness itself and manifesting the Vajra body.
Okay, we stop here, and then if you have time, please come back and we can read further. And good stories to tell. The stories are always good for motivate our inner sleepiness.
So we'll recite the dedication prayer, the abbreviated dedication prayer on page 24 of the prayer book. By the virtues collected in the three tongues, by myself and all beings at samsara and nirvana, and by the innate root of virtue, may I and all beings quickly attain unsurpassed, perfect, complete, precious enlightenment. May the teachings of the great Drong Rajashri, who is omniscient, Lord of the Dharma, Master of interdependence, continue and increase through study, practice, contemplation, and meditation until the end of samsara.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kempo.
Thank you, Kempola from Indonesia.